What captures me the most about this, the Castle of Cagliostro, is one question. Why Count Cagliostro wanted the marriage and the ring? I mean, like I told you in the previous lecture, the motive behind the actions of Lupin in the Castle of Cagliostro is not quite clear. Uncover the mystery of Gothic bills? I don't think so. Saving Clarice? Then why did he show his interest in the original bills in the last scene? Clarice's behavior also seems a little unreasonable. If she just didn't want to marry a guy she doesn't like, she could have just walked out from her convent with an undoubtedly lower security level. She didn't have to wait for the Count to take her to his castle only to steal the car and flee. If she wanted to make Cagliostro, the country, a better place, she could have just married the Count and waited for her time to come. Maybe not while the Count is alive, but maybe in their children's time. The Count will die before her for sure. When that time comes, maybe she can start a coup to make a fresh start for the country. So, actually, Lupin, the protagonist, as well as Clarice, their behaviors kind of lack reasonable context. In this film, the Count Cagliostro is the only one with a clear and explicit goal. We can actually see where Count Cagliostro is going. For example, in a relatively well-known scene in the A part, after Lupin sneaks in, in the B part, in a scene after he sneaks into the castle, the Count holds Clarice's face in his hand. The Count, grabbing Clarice, who tried to escape and failed, says, "My hands are stained in blood," in response to her condemning him as a murderer. "Murderer, you're not human," she says, and the Count harshly responds, saying, "Yes, my hands are stained in blood. My family is the shadow of yours. With conspiracy and murder, we have sustained generations of archdukes. Don't pretend you don't know." And then he shows a gentle side, saying, "Clarice, for 400 long years the light and shadow have been apart, but now our two families unite," in maybe a rather indecent tone. Then Count Cagliostro pressures her again, saying something like, "Our two rings together, they will restore our ancestors' hidden treasure." This is where we clearly see what the Count is up to. Those lines reveal his obvious goals: unification of the Cagliostro families that have been separated in two, and finding the family treasure. But we kind of feel that there is something more. Lupin sees what it is and points it out to him. When Lupin makes his first intrusion, when he was attacked by a group of hitmen by the name of Shadow with fingers like claws, Lupin leaves a message card on the back of Judo, who is later revealed to be one of them. When ordered by the Count, Judo nervously reads the death threat saying, "To the Count of Lust and Greed, I will have your bride." Hearing this, the Count simply sneers like he just doesn't care. What did he mean by lust and greed? Lust is obviously a sexual desire, and this greed means appetite for power. So lust and greed, it means you want the girl and you want the power. The death threat points out the Count's hidden desire, the affection, emotion, and feelings toward Clarice. But the Count didn't care. This is because, at this point, Clarice is not the subject of his affection. This is why he locked her in a convent until their marriage. If he loves her, there is no way he will keep her there until the ceremony. It would be so easy for him to keep her around him. It should not be hard for him, a man of such talent, to say anything that would make a 10-year-old girl obey him. He can just so easily keep a good relationship with her for about 5 years, or maybe 10. Instead, he put her into the convent and didn't show a sign of interest. This is because he actually did not care about her and had no interest in her. Still, despite such a fact we know, Lupin makes a questionable remark in a scene rather close to the ending where he attempts to rescue Clarice. Lupin, disguised as an archbishop, sneaks into the wedding ceremony and makes a surprise move to steal the bride and the ring at the same time. Then, after a big happy grin in response to Clarice hugging him saying, "Mr. Lupin," he says, "Calm down, you cradle robber. Don't blow up," after unveiling the fireworks beneath his robe. Then the story comes to the climax scene. His words, "Calm down, you cradle robber." It's another attempt to make fun of the feelings of Count Cagliostro toward Clarice. However, this is actually not quite obvious as well. So I guess we can see that Count Cagliostro, the only one with a clear agenda in the film, wants the three things I will mention.